Hi guys, it is week 40 of our 52-week series. Happy fall. It is October. I'm wearing long sleeves. I'm feeling very fallish. I still think it's probably in the 90s here in Texas, but you got to embrace it, right? Okay, so this week's verse is in 1 Corinthians. It is chapter 3, verse 16 and 17, and it says, "Do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in you? If anyone destroys God's temple, God will destroy him. For God's temple is holy, and you are that temple." Okay, when I'm taking a look at all my verses, right? Because I have like a big list of verses. I'm like, okay, in 2021, I want to memorize all these verses. And I'm kind of getting down to it. It's week 40. And I'm like, I have more verses than I do weeks left. This is actually a verse I kind of put in the going into the new year category. Because in the new year, people are thinking about New Year's resolutions. People always are thinking, okay, January 1st, I'm gonna start getting healthy. They're gonna, a lot of people try a diet or they start going to the gym or whatever it may be, okay? And so people are kind of in that mindset. I thought this would be a great verse because it is reminding us that our body is God's temple. The Spirit does dwell inside of us. And I kind of feel like that changes how we look and think of our bodies. I think it's also super helpful for people who struggle with how they look. All right? Because you were created by God. You are a temple for Him. And He thinks you're precious and perfect. I do think that if we look statistically at the United States, we know obesity is, I want to say it's at an all-time high. When I looked up the statistics, I was kind of trying to figure out maybe there might have been another year where it was higher. We're inching close to that like 50% mark. I mean, we're at like 42 something percent of people with obesity, which causes tons of health problems, okay? And if we look at, there were some other statistics that I looked at. And the thing is, statistically, things aren't changing between what the church looks like, what a body of believers looks like, Christ followers versus the world. Statistically, we're looking the same. Okay? And that's a little scary. We're called to live in the world, but not be of the world. We should look different. And so, how do we look different? Well, I feel like that starts at home, right? It starts with you. Are you feeding your body the right things? Are you moving your body? Are you resting your body like God commanded? How are you dressing your body? And that's like, I have several different places I'm going to go with this verse. So just hang with me. But that's actually something I'm kind of passionate about. And I feel like anybody that's close to me or knows me well knows that this is kind of like a topic I kind of hone in on because the way that there's this big movement out there, women can dress how they want. And it is like a man's fault if, he looks the inappropriate way or his mind wanders or whatever it may be, okay? And in a way, I guess that's true. You can do whatever you want. I mean, I can pull out a gun and shoot somebody in the face. I can do that. Doesn't make it right. It doesn't mean that there aren't going to be consequences for the horrible choice that I make. God has given you, if you're a woman watching this especially, the responsibility to dress modestly. when you make the choice to dress inappropriately, you're not special anymore. Like, you're not special. I'm thinking about this, like I have 2 boys, and as they grow up, I'm thinking about the type of girls that they are going to be friends with and they're going to be around. And I go to Target right now, and I'm walking around, and like I'm appalled at what I see girls wearing. You know, I think sometimes as a parent, and hear me out, I don't have a daughter, okay? And so because I don't have a daughter, maybe I would see things differently if I did. But I am a girl, and I do know that growing up at a very young age, my mother made me very aware of how I dressed my body so it would be modest. Because when you wear inappropriate things and you show off your body, you're not special anymore. That means that eventually one day you're going to fall madly in love with a guy, hopefully because he likes you and not just because of the way you look, right? Good luck with that if you're dressing inappropriately. But, you know, everybody's like, when he marries you, everyone will have seen everything. That does not make anything special for your husband. You know, if you're married right now and you're dressing inappropriately, what kind of gift are you giving the man that you married? You need to make your body special. It's not for everybody to see all the things. You can still dress amazing and look super good and super incredible without showing off all the things. So I kind of have a little bit of a soapbox on that one, right? Because, I mean, think about, you know, what you decide to wear out. Would you meet Jesus in that? Because you're his temple. Like, how are you dressing the temple of the Lord? Just, maybe that puts a whole new spin and perspective. And if you've got little girls out there, they better be dressed appropriately before they come to my house to see my boys. Because they won't be allowed in inappropriate clothes, because that's not what we do here. You want to teach them to be special. So the whole verse of Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, it's written by Paul to the Corinthian church. They were divided because they were being arrogant. So they had division, immorality, idolatry. They were confused on theological stuff, okay? So he wrote this letter so it would be a true dwelling for God's Spirit. I want God's Spirit living in me. And so I have to think about how I'm treating my body. What am I eating? How am I dressing? Am I resting? All of those things that I talked about earlier, but there's something else I'm going to talk about. For a lot of you, you're done with this video because I know my video last week was really long. I hope you learned how to watch 2x speed because I love doing that. Okay, the other thing that I'm super, super passionate about, and something that I hope in the future to implement a lot of resources for people, is a lot of domestic abuse awareness. There's a statistic I want you to know. Let's see if I can find it on here. Okay, nearly 20 people per minute in the United States, 20 people per minute are abused by their partner. 20 people per minute have violence inflicted on them. That's more than 10 million people a year. And the statistics don't change when you look at domestic violence in the world and you look at domestic violence in the church. The statistics don't change. And so what I have to say about that is, I don't know who watches my videos, but if you watch my videos and you happen to be in a situation like this, where you have been hurt or you have been harmed for the same person, which, by the way, I feel like you need to know, I'm preaching to myself. I eat junk food too much. I need to take better care of my body. I need to set a better example to my boys on how they need to take care of their bodies, because their body is a temple and they learn how to take care of their temple by watching me take care of my temple. So don't feel like I'm calling you out if this is you in this situation where you're being harmed. I'm saying this to myself and to other people who maybe you're feeling like, I'm overweight. Are you shaming me? I'm not shaming you, okay? I'm not shaming you. We all have issues and things we need to work on and things we need to get better. I think it's awareness and the reminder and the knowledge that we should try to do better. We should be actively trying to be the best, healthiest person we can be. And if you are in a domestic violence situation, I want to read, maybe I should read the verse again. I want you to listen. Do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in you? If anyone destroys God's temple, God will destroy him. For God's temple is holy, and you are that temple. And I'm going to call you out and say that if you are being harmed and you continue to stay in that situation and you do not seek help and you do not come up with a plan and you continue to let it happen and you continue to allow your children to see it happening, you are allowing the temple of the Lord to be hurt. And that is not okay. You have a personal responsibility here to the Lord. And I feel like, man, Ryan, that sounds really harsh, okay? I know what that's like. And I know that I wish somebody would have come and told me this. So that's why I'm saying it. And I want to put out a lot of resources eventually on my website, ryankeepsitreal.com, for people that they can click on. If you're watching this and you need resources, you can email me at ryan@ryankeepsitreal.com, and I will email you lots of great, amazing information. As a body of believers, as Christians, if you see things like that happening, like that is, it's like not okay. Actively work towards being a healthy you. I had to throw that in because honestly wasn't even planning on talking about that when I originally picked this verse, but the more I read it and the more I studied it, I was like, I think the Lord might be telling me this is a good time to talk about that. And I am Ryan Keeps It Real for a reason, and I don't sugarcoat things. I also have lived it and experienced what it's like to be in the cycle of abuse. So I know how hard it is to get out. And I know how the devil will whisper in your ear and rationalize and justify the harm that's being done to you. And I need you to hear that, like the words that Paul is telling this church, and it applies the exact same today, that you are the temple of the Lord. And you don't get to be destroyed. You do not get to be hurt or harmed. God is not okay with it. And you have the responsibility and you have control over the next steps of not allowing his temple to be hurt anymore. And if you feel like you don't have that control, then I can help equip you with all the things that you need to take the next right step. So this week, as you go about your week, pray, ask the Lord to show you opportunities to be healthier, to show you opportunities to look different than the world. Ask for his guidance on how you dress. Ask for his guidance on how you interact with your children and teach your kids the right thing. That's all. Happy week 42. I hope you have a super wonderful first week of October, and I'll see you guys next week for week 41. Bye.